The story of Samuel. There was once a woman named Hannah who longed for a child but could not bear one. Year after year she went to the house of the Lord in Shiloh, pouring out her soul in prayer. She wept bitterly and vowed, "O Lord Almighty, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you all the days of his life, and no razor shall touch his head." The priest Eli saw her lips moving but heard no sound and at first thought she was drunk. But when Hannah explained her sorrow, Eli blessed her, saying, "May the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him." In time, Hannah bore a son and named him Samuel, which means God has heard. True to her promise, when Samuel was old enough, she brought him to the house of the Lord and entrusted him to Eli the priest. From then on, Samuel served before the Lord in Shiloh, wearing a little linen robe his mother made for him each year when she came to visit. One night, as Samuel lay sleeping, he heard a voice call, "Samuel." Thinking it was Eli, he ran to him and said, "Here I am, you called me." But Eli replied, "I did not call. Go back and lie down." This happened again and again until Eli realized it was the Lord calling the boy. He instructed Samuel, "If he calls again, say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" The Lord called once more, "Samuel, Samuel," and Samuel answered, "Speak, for your servant is listening." That night, God revealed his word to Samuel, warning of judgment on Eli's house because of the sins of his sons. From then on, Samuel became known as a prophet of the Lord, and none of his words fell to the ground. As Samuel grew, the word of the Lord was with him. Israel came to trust him as God's chosen messenger. He called the people to turn away from idols and return to worship the Lord with all their hearts. When the Philistines rose against Israel, the people were afraid. Samuel prayed on their behalf and offered a sacrifice to the Lord. That day, God thundered mightily against the Philistines, throwing them into confusion, and Israel won a great victory. Samuel set up a great stone and named it Ebenezer, saying, "Thus far the Lord has helped us." Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life, traveling from town to town to lead and guide the people with justice. But as he grew old, the elders of Israel came to him and said, "Give us a king to rule over us like the nations around us." Samuel was troubled, but the Lord said, "It is not you they have rejected, but me as their king." Even so, the Lord granted their request. Samuel anointed Saul, a man from the tribe of Benjamin, as Israel's first king. At first Saul obeyed the Lord, but in time he turned away and disobeyed God's command. Samuel declared to him, "To obey is better than sacrifice. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has rejected you as king." The Lord then sent Samuel to Bethlehem to the house of Jesse. There he anointed a shepherd boy named David, the youngest of Jesse's sons. The Spirit of the Lord came upon David with power, and Samuel knew God had chosen him to be the future king of Israel. Samuel continued to serve the Lord faithfully until the end of his life. When he died, all of Israel gathered to mourn him, remembering him as the prophet who heard the voice of God as a child, who prayed for his people in battle, and who led the nation with wisdom and truth. His life was a testimony that God hears the cries of his people and raises up servants to accomplish his will.